What's going on, guys? We are back. It's been a little while since I recorded one of these. I really want to go through and do all the old decks, but I had some real life things come up. They're still going on. This is kind of me recording to tell you guys that stuff's still going on, and I'm really trying to get a chance to record it. Um, we go back out here. Um, we can see uh, one of my friends on Steam. Let's see if he's on. Cerberus, I believe. Yep, right here. Was nice enough to buy me the Lords of Darkness unlock, so I actually haven't got a chance to play that. I have Dodge and Burn finished, and I haven't got a chance to upload those yet. But I'm going to upload this video as quickly as possible, just because it's been a while since we did a deck analysis. And I basically probably only have time to record one thing tonight, render it tomorrow, and upload it as soon as I'm done the rendering. But I've got a ton of videos backed up. It's just, I like to be able to be on when the video goes up, so if there's a problem I can fix it, or if there's a comment that I like I can see it, but it's just been too hectic, so I haven't got a chance. So let's talk about this deck a little bit. Hall of Champions. Woo! Awesome stuff. Not really. If you watched the Hour of Power, which got a lot of good feedback. I'm really happy that you guys enjoyed that. I did something different with the Dodge and Burn, so when those go up, let me know if you like that better, or the hour-long thing that I did with this deck, or just the normal like 12-15 minute things. But anyway, so this deck, yeah, very reliant on getting all three colors, and there's really no consistent way to do that. So basically the deck is around building ways to get around the terrible mana. So here's what I'm going to do. It's going to be a little bit different. I'm not really going for an all-out Exalted theme with the deck like a lot of people are going to end up doing, because I don't think Exalted works. There's too many good removal cards, and especially with the mono black deck being as good as it is, to just rely on I'm going to attack with one creature. Now there are situations that are great to attack with one creature. Finest Hour and Rafiq make that awesome, but the rest of them just don't seem to be worth it. So we're going to start with 4 Terramorphic Expanses. We're playing 25 lands because, again, it is very important that you see all 3 colors. If you don't see all 3 colors, you just lose games. I think I cut a lot of those games out that were just like, oh, I'm stuck on white and green. There were a few of them in there, but you probably noticed that there were several cuts throughout the video. That would be why, is because there's just a lot of games that just lost because of this. So, white being one of the dominant colors in the deck, almost everything requires white. There are 9 white mana in the deck. It's not very difficult to get 9 mana, or to get one of your 9 on turn 1. I mean, let's talk statistics here. 6 out of 60 gives you a 1 in 10 chance of seeing the card. So when you open with 7, you have basically a 1 in 10 chance of seeing the card. But when you add in these, we're looking at 8, roughly. We'll say 2 of these are islands, 2 of those are forest. So we're talking 8. So statistically speaking, you should be able to see a plains, a island, and a forest. No problem. So plains being one of the most important things, these guys aren't bad for 1 mana. They're 1 mana 2/2s basically, but they die to like Electrickery, which I don't even know is a thing. But they're not bad 1-drops. They pump your things later on in the game. If you have more than one out in the field, it's not bad. So I like the Squire, just because we don't run any other 1-drops. So I feel like they're a good investment on turn 1 when you don't have a Terramorphic Expanse. So I mean, let's look at this again, because I'm really going to go into like deep analysis into this deck. This is going to be a lot different than my normal videos. At least as best I can, because this deck is very hard to build. So the way I look at Terramorphic Expanse is I look at it as a 1-drop. 1-drop, fetch a land. Pass your turn, because you can't play anything off that. So I really consider us to be playing 8 1-drops, which is about normal. I'm okay with that. Now, blue being one of the lesser primary colors, I don't like the Death Duelist. Here's why I don't like the Death Duelist. First Strike, awesome. Shroud, usually awesome, Not when you want to equip it with Behemoth Sledges, or target it with Sigil Blessings, or do anything else to it. It just doesn't help you at all. So, it never gets much bigger than the 2-1 unless you have a ton of Exalted out. So, I mean, if you're playing around an Exalted strategy, like you're playing every Exalted card in the deck, like I'm not going to, then 2 Death Duelists is probably a good idea, but I don't like them. The blue mana is too difficult to obtain, and we don't want to see it till turn 3. Because we have more important turn 2 drops, like the Notvine Paladin, like the Qasali Pride Mage, and like the Sigil Blessing. But I don't even know if the Sigil Blessing is going to stay in there yet. For now, it'll stay in there. But the Notvine Paladin says when he attacks, he gets +1/+1 for each untapped creature you control, and then that stacks with Exalted. So he attacks, and you have one of these guys out. You go turn 1 Squire, turn 2 him, attack for 2 with the Squire. Next turn you play 3-drop. And he attacks for, if the 3-drop has Exalted, which I don't think there are any, he's going to attack for 3 because of Exalted. And then he's going to get 2 triggers from himself and attack for 5. 5 damage on turn 3 is sick. Sick. Anyway, Qasali Pride Mage is another Exalted. And it also has the ability to destroy an artifact or an enchantment, which is sick. Especially with freaking Umezawa's Jitty being in the format. Umezawa's Jitty is stupid. It was stupid in Standard when I played it. I remember it being like Jace the Mind Sculptor, where people played 4 of them just to kill the other one. You know? It would not be unheard of for a control deck to play 3 Umezawa's Jitties. Have no creatures that it's going to matter on, but play the Jitty to kill their Jitty, and so that they can't play another Jitty. You know, that was the thing, is you'd play the Jitty and be like, well, you have to play 2 Jitties to get rid of mine. Jitty is stupid. But with that being in the format, Qasali Pride Mage is a 2/2 for 2 mana and has Exalted. It's good enough for me. Speaking of that, a 1/1 for 2 mana with flying is not. There are better flyers in your deck, and there are better creatures to have Exalted. If if you absolutely have to fly over your opponent to kill them, you're not playing the deck right. I mean, there's going to be that one scenario where you're like, oh, I have my Aven Squire out, and it's going to get 3 triggers of Exalted, and I'm going to kill him because of the 4 damage. But most of the time, you're not going to see that. He attacks, he's a 2/2 flyer for 2 mana, but at the same time, it's just, I don't like it. I don't like having the 1/1 back there. This guy's a 3/3 for 2 mana, essentially, when he attacks. This guy's much bigger than that. So we just have better 2-drops, in my opinion. Jesse an Infiltrator, again, it can't be blocked. That's cool. But it can be targeted by spells. That's not cool. And it costs the blue mana, the green and the blue mana. Like, you're not going to drop this on turn 2, ever, unless you draw the shittiest hand possible. So, let's get rid of those guys. We're going to do 2 Sigil Blessings for now. I don't know if they're going to stay in there or not. But, for now, they're going to stay in. And the Martial Coups are going to stay in, because in the worst case scenario, you Martial Coup at 5 for 5 mana. And you get 3 1/1s. And they trigger this guy, or they trigger the Exalted, or the Angel that's down here, wherever she is. Where is she at? The Sublime Archangel. And you get those Exalted triggers. Or they're just chump blockers until you draw your other Martial Coup. But they are a good board wipe if you get to turn 7 and you have 7 mana. And I mean, when you're playing 25, you should be able to hit 7 on 7. I mean, you should be able to, with 25, you're really looking to hit the 5th mana. As soon as you hit 5 mana, you're good. Usually. But, I mean, we're really not going to go much higher than 5, so there's really no point in putting in extra lands just for the 2 Martial Coups. You won't have a hard time casting it. I mean, at the latest, you're probably going to cast it on turn like 9. But it's good enough, like I said. It's solid, and I'm going to definitely play it. Genera is one of those cards that's probably not going to come out on turn 3, but you're okay with it not coming out on turn 3. you want to bring it out later when you can pump it and make it ridiculously powerful, and you just keep paying, like, I'm going to pay 4 mana, and it's now 5/5. I'm going to pay 4 mana again, and now he's a 7/7. I'm going to pay 6 mana now, and he's a 9/9. Like, that, he just gets out of control very quickly, and it's definitely a him because it doesn't have boobs on the breastplate. So, I may have been calling it a she earlier, but it's definitely a him because we can see that he's got that, like, George Washington face, and there's no boobs on the breastplate. So, that's how we know it's a male. Um, Guiltspire Avenger is not terrible, but it's not going to live. It's nice, but it doesn't want to attack ever. I mean, it's okay staying back, and if you're playing Exalted and going all out on the Exalted, unlike me, he might be a good idea. But I don't justify paying 3 mana for a 2/2 that has an ability that's useful the turn after he comes out, because he's just going to scream, kill me. And with the freaking Dodge and Bird deck, that deck is so powerful. It just runs straight removal. And it's perfectly fine with dealing with 2 mana or 2 power creatures. It's okay with dealing with 4 power creatures. But it hurts itself to do that, which is okay. But I'm not going to play him. The Rox War Monks are solid. I'm going to run all 4 of them, probably. They're 3/4 lifelinks for 3 mana. So they've got a good butt on them. Char's the only thing in the burn deck that's going to kill it, unless they double card or they Banefire it. Or they drop their Earthquake for 5 when they're on turn 5. But you should have gotten a few swings in with the Rox War Monk. They're probably just going to delay you with the memory lapse and the remands and stuff until they can deal with it actually. But it's not bad against all the other decks. I like Dauntless Escort. He's solid. 3/3 for 3 mana. Sack it, all your creatures are indestructible. So the turn that you have a whole bunch of creatures out and you go, I'm a Martial Coup for 10! And then you sack the Dauntless Escort and all your creatures live. And you get 10 tokens. So that's why I like the Dauntless Escort. I mean, it's a cutesy trick, but it's still a 3/3 for 3 mana. So, I feel like a lot of the times, looking at cards in here, if they were good enough in the standard format when they were printed, that they're probably good enough to be played in the decks. And that's a lot of my assumptions on a lot of the cards. Rox War Monks was like that. The Dauntless Escort was like that. I played that in my Bant Conscription deck, which was so much fun. But anyway, so we got Qasali Pridemage over here. Reach, and if a creature is attacking you, and you have a 4-star Plains, he's free. Just free, and he comes out as though he had Flash. He's awesome. He's that nice little combat trick card, and he goes out there for free and can attack the next turn. So I like the Qasali Ambusher. It takes a lot of people by surprise. It's really, really fun. I don't like anything with Defender. Defender's one of those worthless abilities in Magic, I feel like. I mean, there are things that you can build all Defender decks. And, I mean, this one at least has Exalted, but like Wall of Blooms or something? I don't know. One of the walls, Wall of Vines or something, that had the ability to tap for mana, or you put -1/-1 counters on it or something. That's not bad. But like, this is basically just a vanilla Defender, and I mean, even though it has Exalted, it's basically a vanilla Defender. So I don't like it. That's pretty much it. If you're going for the all-out Exalted deck, you might want to play him, but I'm not in that kind of boat. 3 mana for a 1/3 is absolutely miserable. The Exalted helps a little bit, makes it like a 2/4, and the Reach kind of makes it better, but it's not going to kill anything. Like, the mono white deck that's going to overwhelm you with tokens is going to just crush through you. They're going to be 2/2s. They're not going to care that you have a 1/3 with Reach, and it's just kind of a worthless ability. You have a 2/3 over here for Reach, and he costs 0 mana. So I get rid of these guys. One of my biggest things when you talk about Magic with me is I really look at what cards' abilities are and judge them over that. So with this one, we're paying 3 mana. I would expect at least a 3 power, 3 toughness creature for 3 mana. Whereas, like I said, 3 mana power. And the way I judge a card better is if they have an additional stat, like lifelink, flying, haste, trample, like Thundermaw Hellkite in standard. Well, was in standard. Um, it was 5 mana for a 5/5 flying haste, and when he entered the battlefield, you did 1 damage to each creature with flying and tapped them. Like, that is tremendous card value. And like a 3/4 for 3 mana with lifelink is tremendous card value. Granted, it's hard to cast it on turn 3, but it's tremendous value. The same thing with this Dauntless Escort. It's a 3/3 for 3 mana and has another ability. So I feel like vanilla cost, like 2/2s for 2 manas, are not bad, and they have another ability, but we just can't hit that mana. So Behemoth Sledge, cool card. I don't feel like 3 is the right number to be playing, because you don't really want to draw them in multiples. So I'm going to cut 1, and we're going to go down to 2. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, has lifelink and trample, 3 mana to equip. So you play it turn 3, you equip it turn 4, which is a lot of turns to waste trying to get something equipped. But, you know, if you throw it onto a Qasali Pridemage, it makes him relatively buffy. You know, he's swinging for 5 lifelink trample. And then the next creature, if he dies, the next creature you can just throw the sledge on again. So I like having 2. Pariah, all damage that would be dealt to you is dealt to enchanted creature instead. Not worth it at all. We have nothing that's like, oh, you get this when you're dealt damage, or you get this. Whatnot. You have no creatures with gigantic butts. So like everything that you have is just going to die right there. There's so many cards in this deck. We have barely touched them at all. Bant Charm. Its removal. Keep it in. Destroy target artifact or put target creature on the bottom of its owner's library. That's what you're going to cast it on 90% of the time. But there's also the nice ability to counter an instant spell as well. There are a lot of things to do with the Bant Charm, and it's very useful to use. And you can put your own creature on the bottom of your library if you absolutely need to. I don't know why you'd want to, but you might need to sometime. Something where like someone's like sack a creature and they gain life, like vapors, consuming vapors. Maybe you don't want them to gain the life. Maybe you have lethal on the board, or maybe you don't have lethal on the board. Maybe you have lethal in your hand and you can play lethal on the board. Maybe you want to put your own creature on the bottom so they don't gain 4 life off your Rock Swarmonk. I don't know, maybe. So I'm gonna run all 4 Bant Charms probably. I don't like Wargate. Paying 3 mana to search your library for a permanent with converted mana cost X or less and put it on the battlefield. 90% of the time I feel like you're going to use this to get a land, and the other 90% of the time you're not going to be able to grab the powerhouse creature that you want to grab that, like at turn 7. Grab the Sublime Archangel. Like, I'd rather just, I mean, you do get to put it on the battlefield, so you're paying 7 mana to search your library for a Sublime Archangel and put it on the battlefield. That might not be bad, but I think that's the best case scenario, and that's turn 7. Turn 7. So I don't think that's worth it. Rafiq. Rafiq is amazing. He has a lion in the background, and that's reason enough to play him. But on top of that, he's a 3/3 for 4 mana, and he has this extra ability that says whenever a creature you control attacks alone, he gains double strike. So we go back to my talking about, you know, cards for their value and their mana cost. 4 mana for a 3/3 is like blah. Exalted bumps him up a little bit. We're like, oh, I might consider that. And then creature you can attack alone gains double strike. It's like, my Rock Swarmonk is attacking for, he's a 4/5. If it's just him and Rafiq out on the field, he's a 4/5, and he's hitting for 8. Yeah, that seems good. Oh wait, that's a Behemoth Sledge on him. He's attacking for, what is it, 5, 6, 12? Yeah, I think I like that. I think I like that a little bit. So Rafiq's one of those cards, it's a bullet card. It says, I have to die the turn I come out or I win the game. Almost 90% of the time. The Knight of New Alara is other multicolored creatures you control get +1/+1 for each of its colors. Let's go back and look at our multicolored cards. He's going to get +2. He's going to get +2. That's going to be a 6/7 Rocks Warmonk. That's going to be a 6/6 Angel for 3 mana. That's going to be a 4/4 Qasali Pridemage. That's going to be a 4/4 Knot-Vine Paladin. That seems like it's not going to hurt us too bad. He costs a little bit more than I want to play, but he really seems to grant us a lot of benefits onto our other creatures. And he's got some pretty colorful armor. You know, he's got like 3 or 4 colors on his armor. Gotta trust a dude like that. Leonin Armor Guard. Enters the battlefield. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Really? Like 3 mana for a 4/4, or 4 mana for a 3/3. Enters the battlefield. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Now, I mean, we don't have a ton of creatures out here unless you're playing Exalted, and then you might have a little bit more out. But I mean, honestly, how many cards with Exalted have we even cut so far? 3, 4, 7, and then these guys are going to get cut because they're just not good value. They're 4/4 tramplers for 4 mana, but they also only have 3 toughness and died at like all the removal. And my computer's running a little bit slow, but we'll cut these guys. Hopefully. We shouldn't be short on space. We're definitely not short on space. There we go. Good computer. So, we've talked about those guys. We'll get them out of there. So, I mean, again, if you're playing a ton of creatures, might be better, but we got a ton cut already, and we still have a ton in the deck. Sublime Archangel is a win condition in and of its own. Exalted triggers stack, and so, like, Rafik has Exalted, and then Exalted from Sublime Archangel, so he's going to give +2 to a creature that attacks alone, and she's going to give +1 to a creature that attacks alone, and the creature that's attacking alone is going to give +1 if it doesn't already have Exalted. So, it's a win condition. She does some stupid stuff and can get out of control. Restoration Angel is another one of those cards that just come into play, can chump block, and it can bounce a card when it's being targeted by something removal. So when someone's like, I'm going to char and deal 4 damage to your Rocks Warmonk, and you go, no you're not, Restoration Angel, bitch. And then the Restoration Angel comes back into your hand. Or not the Restoration Angel, but the other card comes into your hand, and you still have a 3/4 onto the field. And they're like, well, I can't attack into that 3/4 now. There's a 3/4 out. Ivory Mask, you have Shroud. You don't really need that. Not many people are just going to throw stuff right at your face. And if they are, they're going to throw it at you while it's on the stack. And if they can't, then congratulations, you saved yourself like 3 damage and are going to end up losing all of your creatures in the process. So, no. Faith's Reward. Return to the battlefield all permanent cards that were put there from the battlefield this turn. It's relatively expensive and it's very situational. It really has to have a set target, so I'm not a big fan of it. Again, Exalted, where you're talking about, you know, advantage from mana cost here. 5 mana for a 2/4. We had this conversation with a couple of my buddies of mine the other day that low mana cost cards are to gain advantage. Middle cost cards, so like 3 and 4, are designed to get you to your end game goal, and 5 mana plus is designed to win the game. So when I cast a spell at 5, it should be my finisher. It should not be a 2/4 flying exalted creature. So yeah, that doesn't work. Flying Exalted, when our creature control attacks alone, you gain lifelink. We already have a ton of cards that have lifelink, and I don't believe lifelink stacks anymore. It's been a long time since that has ever come up, but I don't believe that lifelink triggers stack. Let's get rid of him. 5 mana for a 2/2. He got another creature +2/+2 in flying. But if he's the only creature on the battlefield, he just gives himself. So no, we won't do that. So again, 5 mana. We're talking about 5 mana being what's designed to win you the game. Finest Hour is a great example of 5 mana designed to win you the game. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, If it's the first combat phase, untap that creature, and there's another combat phase. So you attack with your Exalted triggers and get this guy real big. So like your Rafik, you attack with something with the Rafik, like, so Rafik attacks, gains double strike, and you untap, and then you swing with everybody, and Rafik still has the double strike and all the Exalted triggers. It's awesome. So Finest Hour is definitely a good choice. Other permanents you control have hexproof. That might not be the worst thing ever. Granted, it's turn 5 though, so that's very, situational. And again, the dodge and burn is what I'm going to compare most of these decks to, because I think it's probably one of the best decks out in the new format, or in the new expansion packs. I haven't got a chance to look at the Lords of Darkness yet, and I want to actually do that and play some games with it after I've gone through and done the deck analysis with it, like all in one video, because I didn't get a chance to play it. So like this, again, 5 mana should be when we win, and they have Earthquake, they have Starfall, and they have the 2 damage during your turn, or during my turn, and 3 damage during their main phases. So that's awesome removal for them. So they really don't need to target my creatures with Char. They could just Volcanic Fallout and Earthquake for 2, or whatever they feel like doing. They're not going to have a problem. So we're going to get rid of that, because that's what it's designed to help you against. Gleam of Resistance is a good card. It's designed to be in there for the basic land cycling, so that you can go, well, I've got my plains in my island, I need to get my forest, I'll spend 2 mana and go get my forest. But all it does is just replace the card and you lose a turn. So I don't like relying on that. That's why I'm playing 25 lands, is I'd rather play that extra land than play that. Skyward Eye Prophets, Vigilance, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it on the battlefield, otherwise put it into your hand. So it's like tap, draw a card. 3/3s for 6 mana though. Like, that's just, I don't want these things cluttering up my hand. They're cool, but they're going to die. You can't attack with them. I mean, unless you're already winning the game, then you can attack with them, but you can't attack with them. Talsimar Wolfblood is a good card. I like it. It puts out 4/4s if they don't deal with it instantly. Now, if they spend all this time dealing with all your other cards, because every other card that you've played so far is a threat, other than this guy who's not really a threat, he's just in there to be like, surprise, guys, I'm gonna kill you. That's what he's in there for. So Tolsimir seems like a good option, because they're probably gone through a good bit of their removal. Now, if you're playing against Dodge and Burn, they're going to Draining Welk you here, because they're going to be at 6 mana, you're going to be at 6 mana, you're going to be like Draining Welk, or you're going to be like Tolsimir, they're going to be like Draining Welk, and you're like, I lose. But you got to try it. And Tolsimir is real solid. It's one of those cards that when it hits the field, you're probably going to win the game. If there's anything else out on your side of the field, even if there's not, you're like, tap, put out a 4/4 named Voja. Mirror Sigil Sergeant. Trample at the beginning of your upkeep. If you control blue permanent, you may put a token that's a copy of him onto the battlefield. Well, we have a few blue permanents. We got 2 here, and 1 there, and 4 here, and 1 there. So 5 there. But that's really all of our blue permanents, and that's not enough to rely on that as a win condition. He also costs 6 mana, and he's going to get dealt with. Iridescent Angel, flying, protection from all colors, 7 mana for a 4/4 flyer. I could care less if it has hexproof and cannot die. 7 mana, flying, indestructible 4/4. I would probably still not play it. That's basically what she says. I can't do it. Nova Blast Worm, 7 mana for a 7/7. Like I said, that's about right. Destroy all other creatures. That's cool. You're never going to do it. Yeah, it's turn 8 we're talking about. This deck has no mana excel, so it's turn 8 that you're going, well, I'm going to attack and kill all your creatures. Well, I mean, he's going to turn a game around if they can't deal with him, but, you know, my goal is to win by turns 5 or 6, not have anything to play on turn 7. This deck is not designed to be top heavy. It's not designed to be in mid range like or not a not it's designed to be a mid range. It's not designed to be a ramp deck and just go, oh, I'm going to go straight up my curve and here's a 7/7 on turn 5. You can't do it. Same thing with Phantom Nishoba. I mean, he's a 7/7 and whenever damage is dealt to him, you remove a counter instead of him taking damage. So they got to hit him 7 times to kill him. And he has lifelink. So, and trample. I mean, he's terrifying. Don't get me wrong, but again, 7 mana. It's just we don't want to hit 7 mana. Same thing here. Tapping over untapped creature control, put 4/4 white flying angel creatures tokens with flying onto the battlefield for each creature tapped this way. But 7 mana. You know, you're either going to have enough creatures out to win, or you're not going to have any creatures out at all. Imperial Archangel, flying shroud, 8 mana for a 5/8. All damage to be dealt to you is dealt to her instead. But like, people can easily do 8 damage on turn 8. Like, it doesn't matter that she has shroud. People can easily do 8 damage on turn 8. So, no. So, we've actually taken out 1 card too many. So we're going to have to go back through here and decide what card we want to put back into the deck. I want these sorted by cost, because that's the best thing to do. Another 2 costs wouldn't be bad, but I don't want to rely on any of these 2 costs. They're terrible. They're 2 mana specific. We could go for another 5 cost. What do we have in our 5 cost categories? Crap, 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 and crap. Alright. We could play the other Sledge. I don't want to do that. That's too many. We could play the other Sigil's Blessing, which is a nice way to say, hey, my creatures get big and you can't kill them with, you know, removal spells. So I think that's a good idea. I think that's what we'll do. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. We've got 4 Terramorphic Expanses for Arkeson Squires, 1 Knotvi Paladin, 3 Qasali Pridemage, 3 Sigil's Blessing, 2 Martial Coup, 1 Jinara, a Sura of War, 4 Roxlore Monks, 2 Dauntless Escorts, 1 Qasali Ambusher, 2 Behemoth Sledge, 4 Bant Charm, 1 Qasali Pridemage, or 1 not Qasali Pridemage, Rafika the Many, 1 Knight of the New Alara, 2 Sublime Archangels, 1 Restoration Angel, 2 Finest Hours, and a Talsamir. So guys, let me know what you think of the deck. Let me know if you have a better mana base in mind than what I have. The game is going to suggest an absolutely terrible one that I'm not going to even consider as an option. But I like the curve. The curve is very solid. We kind of, you know, hit our mid-range, 2, 3, 4 mana. And then 5, 6 is where we cap out. I like it. Seems good to me. So let me know what you guys think of the video. Let me know, if you have any other ideas, any cards that I'm overlooking that should be in here. And we'll try and get to the old decks that I need to do deck analysis for now that all 40 cards are unlocked. Which is pretty much all of them. There's still even ones that I haven't finished unlocking yet. Like that one and these. So I'm a little behind. I hope you guys understand. But I have very pressing matters to attend to. For a little bit at least. Without getting into too much detail. So I'll do my best to keep stuff coming out. If I don't post a video for a little while, feel free to yell at me, guys, and be like, hey, get on it. Because I have them recorded, like I said. It's just one of those things that, you know, I want to be around when the video goes live so that I can fix things. But again, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you later.